Good morning everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks On. Today we're checking out a new video recently posted by a channel called Killer Studio. Can the Tyranids from Warhammer 40k devour the flood from Halo? Now you're probably wondering, and hey Fox, why are you checking out a video like this? This isn't never what you've checked out before. I'm checking out because this video was recommended to us yet again by the wonderful Nico down below. I'm sorry if I'm also kind of butchering that. The name's long, I'm just calling them by the first four letters, which is N-I-K-O. But either way, they recommend this video, we have an opening, we're checking it out today. Now then, let's hop in and see if these giant insects can really defeat this parasitic fungus. Let's go.
Alright, yeah, magnificent bastards, welcome back to the channel. The only place where the most deranged ideas to ever leak out of the melting pot that is my skull is treated as a totally normal, discussed topic. And you may be wondering,
alright then.
Killer Studio, what unhinged nightmare have you cooked up today? Simple lads, today we're throwing the Tyranids from 40k, the galaxy's most roided up steroid ants. Against
Yeah, they're all kind of
the only
antsy.
thing that gives those monsters nightmares. Because facing them is the Flood, a parasite best described as a cold that genuinely hates you. So sit back, relax, grab a pint of whiskey, because today...
I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about either of them. I know kind of the basics, that the Flood is almost like a zombie parasite in a way that takes over the host mentally and physically. And the Tyranids are, well, technically they're Zerg. Though Zerg are made from the Tyranids, since Tyranids came out before StarCraft. By only a couple of years or so. But either way, I digress. Let's hop back in.
We're finding out which one of these absolute deranged abominations could eat the other one whole. So let's dive in.
I guess let's,
Have you ever had a
do
cold?
it.
And I don't mean a wee sniffle. I mean the kind of cold that would put you on your arse so hard you'd start considering violence against your own immune system.
Thankfully,
no matter
no.
how much soup you drink, no matter how much your mum insists it'll help you, you're not getting any better. Congratulations, you've basically got the Flood. Now, while that analogy is a joke, it is also not wrong. The Flood is technically
Go on.
parasite, though calling it a parasite feels unfair, because most parasites don't actively decide your organs would look way better as a gelatinous soup.
Oh,
The Flood's real
okay.
horror is in its life cycle, because it's designed to escalate fast. It all starts as a spore, a microscopic thing, barely a millimeter thick. We've all had that problem. Drifting through the galaxy.
Okay,
For
okay.
however long it takes. Century, millennia, it doesn't care. And whilst it's not sentient, at this stage it does have a will. It's hunting, specifically, for sentient life. And once it finds a planet with some clever enough thing to think, the spore drops into the atmosphere and gets to work. It infects a host. Could be a person, an animal, anything with enough brain power. And here's the terrifying part. The host might not even notice for years.
Well, I guess a chunk of humanity is safe then, since none of them use their brains.
Then the Flood hits critical mass. That's when the pod infectors show up. Small animal-level intelligence that operates like ants. Not thoughts, just instinct. Find prey,
Wild
release
beast.
pheromones, shout, "Food on, lads!" and then swarm. From there, hosts get turned into combat forms, carrier forms, and a whole other catalogue of other nightmares.
Okay,
At this stage, if you don't wipe it out within a month, you're in trouble. 2 months, lads. If you haven't already nuked everything, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. Because now the Flood starts building a proto-grave mine. Imagine
Proto-grave mine,
1,000 skulls and pouring all those brains into one horrible thinking soup. At first it's scattered, confused, but add enough biomass, enough memories, enough intelligence, and eventually you get a grave mind. And once that thing exists, it's game over, lads. The grave mind isn't just smart.
Okay, so hold on. The Flood first is a single spore, with the willpower to apparently move through space endlessly until it finds sentient life. It finds sentient life, infects that sentient life, and then somehow mutates that very being to create the pods. I guess we're going to call it the little things because I didn't really catch the name. Then the pods are sent out, they infect more, creating the carriers and fighters. And then eventually it kind of pulls a bit of a dead space and starts gathering up the fallen of, I'm guessing, both floods and non-infected, and then melting them down to create the proto-grave mine. And eventually all the mines fuse into one, creating the grave mine itself. My next guess is that after the grave mine is born, created, or whatever, that's when the Flood goes into, like, hyperdrive.
It has a combined knowledge of everything it's eaten. That means technology, tactics, language, history. If the planet had ships, the Flood can fly them.
Oh God.
If it had factories, the Flood can use them. And once it has enough biomass, it can start producing pure forms. Adaptive, shape-shifting murder monsters that can reconfigure themselves on the fly. An absolute nightmare to fight in Halo, by the way.
So yeah, I was right. Hyperdrive.
At this point, the Flood stops thinking locally and starts thinking galactically. Planet to planet, system to system, an ever-expanding hive consciousness that consumes everything it touches. And here's the really uncomfortable part. There's hints in Halo lore that the Flood may have already consumed other galaxies.
Oh,
not confirmed yet, but there are enough breadcrumbs to make you nervous. And whilst that's still a mystery,
galaxies consumed.
The thing is about to fight in this video, that monster has come from outside the galaxy entirely.
Yeah, now this I actually do know about the Tyranids. They are not native to the Milky Way galaxy. They have come from somewhere the fuck off, invaded us, technically invaded in the 40K universe, leading to the endless, like, 30-way war.
Imagine this for me, if you will. You're out on a lovely walk.
Why am I outside?
The sun is out. The world is fine. And then, without warning, the ground beneath you gives way. You fall down. Down.
Oh, damn it.
Eventually, you hit the bottom of a pit so deep and
I think
so
I fell
dark
on my
that it
keys.
feels less like a hole and more like a place where light simply isn't allowed to exist. Luckily for you, you were clever. You were heading out on a camping trip that day. You've got a pack of matches in your pocket.
Ah,
Unfortunately,
there we go.
The fall has ripped them from you.
Wait, what the damn it?
Fingers scraping against you. The panic rises. And somehow,
Oh,
find them again.
the damn sound
But
effect.
only one match. One. That's it. And in the darkness, where moving could mean falling even deeper, that match isn't comfort. It's hope. It's the only thing between you and the unknown.
Oh, time to light my shit on
So
fire.
you strike it, and for a moment, bliss. The flame burns bright, cutting through the crushing black. You see
Take off your
again.
shot. You need a burner.
breathe.
You need more light.
You smile. You're safe. For a moment. Because so can the ants. These are no
What
ants. They're hungry. And you've just lit the brightest come meet me beacon to ever be conceived. At first, they're cautious. They're not stupid. They know you're bigger than them. Stronger. Dangerous.
Shit,
So they
Dave, he's
send
massive.
scouts. You don't even notice at first. Just a few itchy spots. Nothing serious.
That's just Phil, not
You
Bill.
keep walking, holding your little flame like a torch of defiance.
And the thing is already burning down.
More itchy spots. More movement. Still, you ignore it. Another day. You're covered now. Crawling sensations.
Oh, what the
Constant.
hell?
You finally kneel down to check your legs. And that's when the horror hits. Thousands of ants, no, tens of thousands,
Oh god!
pouring across the floor, across the wall. That primal fear kicks in. The one every child knows. The terror of being small and alone in the dark.
Oh god, this is
You
terrible.
scream, you stomp, you kick, you kill them in droves. But that's the point. Because while you were distracted, the real swarm arrived.
Oh
They rain
god.
down on you from above, from cracks in the walls, from everywhere. Millions upon millions, a living tidal wave. You
Sweet
thrash,
Jesus.
you slam yourself against stone, you crush as many as you can. But it doesn't matter. They've got grip now.
I don't like this.
They crawl inside you. Mouth, nose, eyes, ears. They eat
Oh.
you from the inside out. You scream until screaming becomes impossible. You thrash until there's no strength left. Eventually, you slump against the wall. Your hand loosens, and the match, the thing you thought was your salvation, slips from your fingers.
Oh,
And in your
no,
final
no, no, no,
moment
don't like.
of fading consciousness, you realize the truth. It was never your way out. It was your doom. And the ants, they eat everything. Your eyes, your brain, your skin, your flesh.
My
your
god,
nerves,
Kilo.
even the cartilage inside your skeleton. Nothing is wasted. Every piece of you is stripped, harvested, and added to the swarm. And when there is finally nothing left to take, the ants move on. The last thing in that pit is a dim, flickering match, snuffed
Oh
out
god.
by the very thing it tried to save. You see that, lads? That's a Tyranid invasion. The person was the Imperium, the match was the Astronomicon, and the ants, the Tyranids. And
Okay.
this exact
I don't like
scenario
any of
has
that.
played out across countless worlds, systems, and even entire galaxies. Because the Tyranids didn't come from the 40k galaxy, they came to it. And once
Yep.
they're done here, they'll move on. Which brings us to the real question. Can even the Flood survive something like that? So now you've heard what the Tyranids are. You've heard what the Flood is. Now let's stop talking about theory and see what actually happens when these two nightmares collide. I'm going to assume by this point you know enough about
I'm expecting either the Tyranids to win or some kind of third option that creates a whole new species.
both of these factions by now. But if not, I'll leave links in the description to videos by a couple of my favorite channels who could better explain the lore than I can. There's simply just too much lore here to cover. So go and check out those. But you're not here for a lecture, you're here for the scenario.
Yeah, let's check this
We
out
begin
finally.
in a random galaxy. We'll call it Veta 5. A bright, thriving galaxy at the height of its prosperity. Civilization blooms. Ecosystems flourish. Life lives and dies in a quaint cycle of contentment. It is,
They
for
call
all
them
intents and
classic.
purposes, healthy. Which makes it perfect. Now, both factions are given an equal start. The Flood arrives with a single ship, old, damaged, barely holding together. But
Pretty much like in
carrying
Halo.
infection forms, spores, combat forms, everything it needs to thrive. The Tyranids arrive with one hive ship, seeded with the genetic materials and bioforms required to begin a planetary harvest. So let's see how this plays out. On the far edge of Veta 5, the Flood makes
Okay,
first
here we
contact.
go.
The ship crash lands on a world not unlike our own, technologically advanced, spacefaring, already planning colonies beyond its homeworld. It reacts quickly. The wreck is identified and bombarded from orbit. Unfortunately,
Good thinking.
that doesn't matter. The spores have already spread.
Damn,
At
it's
first,
too late.
it's just illness. 1,000 sick. Then tens of thousands. Then millions. People die.
Oh crap, that
and
jump.
then they change, mutate, and rise again as something else. Within
fungus.
weeks, a proto-grave mind has already formed. The planet fights back. Hard, orbital strikes, firestorms, scorch continents. But fear and hesitation stops them from doing the one thing that might actually save them.
Glassing the world.
Total annihilation.
Glass the
Refugees
world.
flee the infected zone, carrying the flood with them. And then it's over. The world becomes a flood planet, and the infection spreads outwards. At a terrifying speed, system by system, Veta 5 begins to rot from the edges inwards.
Ooh,
On the opposite side of the
looks
galaxy,
magnificent.
the Tyranids arrive. Their ship doesn't crash. It waits. The planet below hasn't reached space flight yet, but it's close. Primitive orbital weapons, early telescopes, curious, ambitious, unprepared. The invasion begins slowly, deliberately, slowly. Lictors descend first,
Literally
mapping the
testing the
biosphere
world.
and eliminating threats. Genestealer cults bloom quietly within populated centers. Decades pass with nothing wrong, until the hive ship reveals itself. A breakthrough in planetary scanning technology finally lets the world see what's been orbiting its moon all this time. A
Oh, the
massive
terror.
organic horror of tendrils and chitin. The government hesitates, debates, delays. And then it happens. Spore rains from the sky. Cult uprisings erupt across continents. In a single perfect coordinated assault, lasting less than 2 weeks, the planet falls. What little remains becomes nothing more than biomass. This pattern repeats on world after world. The Tyranids carve their own path towards the galaxy's core. Eventually, the two predators meet. At the center of Veta 5 lies an unimportant world. No
The
sentient
battleground.
life, only massive animals roaming endlessly. A perfect battleground. By now, both factions are at full momentum. The Flood has evolved. It is
It has
corrupt.
pure
AI.
forms.
It has built fleets. It creates new forms from stolen biomass. The Tyranids have adapted too. Stronger bioforms, smarter tactics, deeper coordination. The battle begins in orbit. The Flood spores and the Tyranid spores choke the atmosphere.
Come on.
Infection
Who will
forms
win?
clash with gaunts and hive tyrants. The fight lasts for months, and something strange happens. The two hive intelligences notice each other. They probe, they learn. Each is
They
hungry,
communicate.
but each has never encountered something quite like itself before. But curiosity does not stop this war. The Tyranids adapt quickly, developing partial resistance to infection, but the Flood spreads faster than expected. Entire hive ships are scuttled by the Tyranids themselves to prevent corruption. But it's not enough.
Oh damn.
The Flood consume, learn, and evolve again, now armed with Tyranid biology. Veta 5 has fallen. This battle
So wait, the
is
Flood
over,
won?
but it has not ended. The Flood spreads onward, dominating. For now, the Tyranids retreat, not defeated, but educated. They have learned,
Holy
they have
crap.
assessed, and they have adapted. Next time, they will not arrive with one ship, and even the Flood knows it. For the first time in its colossal intelligence, it has encountered a predator worthy of fear. And the next clash, well, that one, will decide more than a single galaxy.
The Flood
So there
won.
you have it.
But how?
Yeah, absolute bloody legends. The Flood won. And yes, of course the Flood won. But not because they're bigger, or louder, or scarier. They won for one very specific reason.
Go on.
In the Warhammer 40k canon, we've already seen this happen. When the Death Guard infected a Tyranid hive fleet, the corruption spread so aggressively that the Tyranids were forced to do the unthinkable. They had to destroy their own hive ship just to counter it.
Oh.
That single incident is the backbone of this entire video. Because if Nurgle's gifts, crude, stagnant, and frankly messy, can overwhelm the Tyranids' adaptability, then the Flood, a hyper-intelligent, ever-evolving parasite consciousness that actively learns and actively plans, yeah, that's a problem.
Okay.
The Flood doesn't just affect, it studies. It consumes knowledge, biology, tactics. It doesn't stagnate, it escalates. And
It's
unlike
exponential.
Chaos, it isn't playing a great game for eternity. It wants to win. That's why, in this scenario, I give the Flood the edge. Not a clean sweep.
I could see that.
Not a guaranteed victory. If I ran this clash 10 times, the Flood would probably win 6, maybe 7 on a good day. The Tyranids absolutely take wins too though, especially once they've learned what they're dealing with. And that's the key thing. This could technically go either way, depending on the scenario.
Truly even.
Which is why I want to know what you think. Who takes it? The galactic parasite that has already eaten other galaxies, or the eternal hunger from beyond the void? Let me know in the comments below.
I mean, he's right. It
And
literally
one last
could
thing
go
before I
either way.
Lads, it's 2026. And honestly, this feels like a bloody good way to start the year. I hope you've enjoyed the return, and I hope you're ready for what comes next. Because when I say I've got things planned, I mean it. So if you've enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe,
This guy is just on my
and ring that
subscription.
bloody bell. It genuinely helps me more than you probably know. Now, remember lads, the hunger always comes back for seconds. Have a killing day, you bloody legends, and I will see you in my next one.
Okay, so now it should be just going on to...
I am not your enemy.
Yeah, I guess it's outro time. Alright everyone, thank you for joining me in today's video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below. And so remember to support the original creator and all they do. And, like I said, this guy is just on my subscription. So, until then, until next time folks, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.